The greatest reward is not the money you earn, but the person you become in the process of achieving it. Bob Proctor. You think being rich is a matter of bank accounts, numbers, zeros lined up on a cold screen. But let me tell you, with the same conviction Bob Proctor shared with generations before you, wealth does not begin in the bank. Wealth begins in the mind. It begins with what you accept as truth within yourself. And here's the truth. You are already rich, but you haven't realized it yet. From the moment you were born, you were immersed in a sea of paradigms, limiting beliefs imposed by voices that didn't even know what they were saying. Teachers who never became wealthy taught you what is possible, well-meaning but conditioned parents handed you a map that never led them anywhere. And you, unknowingly, accepted it. You accepted that money is hard. You accepted that success is for a few. You accepted that if you're born poor, you die poor. But Bob Proctor dedicated his life to tearing up those maps, to burning those beliefs until only absolute clarity remained. You are the one who programs your mind, and your mind is the factory of your reality. Think about this. Everything that exists in the physical world first existed in the mental plane. Every building, every company, every fortune started as a thought, a clear image in the mind of someone who dared to believe. And if you begin to see your mind as a creation center, not imitation, not limitation, your external life will merely be a delayed reflection of your internal vibration. The question is not whether you can be rich. The real question is, are you already vibrating like someone who is? Pause for a moment. Observe. Most people live on scarcity autopilot. They think about bills, debts, fears, as if these were unchangeable realities. But these are merely projections of a mind programmed to survive, never to thrive. Bob always said, if you want to change the outside, you must start from the inside. This is not cheap self-help. This is mental science, quantum physics, the very essence of why millionaires keep creating more wealth while others stay trapped in scarcity cycles. The subconscious mind does not know the difference between what is true and what is imagined. What you repeatedly tell yourself with emotion becomes your dominant programming. And that's where your new story begins. You need to break the cycle. You need to become the conscious architect of your life. And that starts with a radical act, taking full responsibility. It's not the economy. It's not the government. It's not your family. It's you. The day you stop looking outside for someone to blame will be the day you reclaim your power. But wanting is not enough. Dreaming is not enough. Bob was relentless in saying, wishing is not sufficient. You must become the kind of person who attracts what you desire. That means aligning your thoughts, feelings, and actions with the frequency of abundance. You cannot expect prosperity while thinking in terms of lack. You cannot expect opportunities while playing the victim. You cannot expect the world to treat you like a winner if you see yourself as a mere survivor. The law of attraction, so popularized, does not respond to empty positive thinking. It responds to the dominant frequency of your mind. And frequency is adjusted through discipline, repetition, and awareness. Imagine this. Who would you be if you lived every single day with the absolute conviction that you are already rich? How would you move? How would you speak? How would you think? What decisions would you make? That is the key. The universe does not respond to your hopes. It responds to your certainty. You must internalize, down to the very marrow of your bones, that wealth is not a destination. It is a state of mind. And the more you dwell in that vibration, the more inevitable it becomes for the world to materialize the corresponding opportunities. Look around. You know people with less talent than you, less preparation, less intelligence, and yet they prosper. Do you know why? Because they decided to believe. They accepted that they were worthy of wealth long before seeing any physical evidence of it. And the universe, as obedient as always, delivered what was vibrationally ordered. You are no different. But the question is, are you willing to break your old paradigms? Are you willing to pay the price of mental discipline? Because this requires consistency, daily visualization, constant reprogramming, self-vigilance. But on the other side of this effort lies a life you can't even imagine as possible. You were not made to merely survive. You were made to create, to expand, to contribute with your most powerful version. Bob Proctor used to say, "The greatest reward is not the money you earn, but the person you become by earning it." And that transformation begins now. The time to change your paradigms is not tomorrow. It's not when everything is perfect. It is this very moment. As you hear these words, a battle is raging within your mind, between the version of you that self-sabotages and the version that is ready to ascend. Which one will you feed? Because where your attention goes, your energy flows. And where your energy concentrates, your reality blossoms. You are already rich. You already have everything you need within you. Only one thing remains. You must believe it with such strength, with such intensity, that the world will have no choice but to bow before your new vibration. And that is the secret the truly wealthy have understood for a very long time. Now it's your turn. Now listen carefully. The abundance you desire is already here, but not in the future. It exists at the frequency level. The question is, are you tuning into it? Imagine a radio. The scarcity station plays loud for most people. Bad news, fear of failure, financial insecurity, envy disguised as realistic opinions. Most people are tuned into that noise without even realizing it. But there's another station. A clean frequency. Clear. The prosperity station. And changing the station is an internal decision. It's not luck. It's not chance. It's mental mastery. Bob Proctor taught that your conscious mind is the gatekeeper of your subconscious. You have the power to filter what comes in, but few exercise that power. They let other people's opinions, the news, and other people's failures enter without resistance. That's why their paradigms never change. If you want to change your life, you must guard your mind like a vault. Select with surgical precision the thoughts you accept. Reject immediately everything that is not aligned with wealth, abundance, and your vision. Because everything begins in the invisible. And here's the point few understand. You don't attract what you want. You attract what you are. If, deep down, you still feel small, unworthy, limited, the universe will respond with more situations that confirm that belief. But if you elevate yourself internally, if you start acting like a prosperous person in every detail of your life, something magical happens. Reality begins to bend. And no, this is not esotericism. It's vibration. It's physics applied to consciousness. Bob used to say, "You want results? Look at your paradigms. Change them, and your results will change with you." But paradigms don't change with a vague wish. They dissolve through the power of conscious repetition. Visualize your wealth. Feel it as if it were already real. Act in accordance with that certainty. And do this every day without giving in to what your physical eyes have not yet seen. Because matter is slow. The mind is instantaneous. What you create in the mind, sooner or later, matter follows. But only if you are consistent. Most people fail because they look around, see that nothing has changed, and revert back to their old patterns. Don't be like most people. Remember, all great fortune started with a decision that seemed absurd to others. Edison, testing 1,000 times a light bulb that wouldn't light up. Walt Disney, rejected by banks that couldn't see a future in his dream park. Carnegie, starting from the factory floor to become the steel magnate. None of them waited for the world's approval to believe. They created an inner certainty so powerful that the world had no choice but to bow to that conviction. That same power is within you, but it's asleep, suffocated by years of scarcity paradigms. It's time to wake it up, and it starts with action, not the frantic, blind action of those who run without direction, but inspired action, guided by the clarity of your vision. Small daily decisions, aligned with who you want to become, how you spend your time, what you consume, who you surround yourself with, what you silently repeat to yourself. Every choice is a brick in the construction of your new identity. Bob Proctor used to say, "Abundance is the universe's natural state. Scarcity is a human mind invention." So the question is not whether wealth exists. The question is whether you are willing to open the inner doors for it to flow to you. And that willingness manifests as persistence, because there will be days when your old mind will try to pull you back. It will whisper familiar lies. You can't do this. This isn't for you. You should give up. But you are no longer a slave to those thoughts. Every time you challenge them, every time you reaffirm your vision without external evidence, you are reprogramming your subconscious mind. And here's the crucial point. There is no growth without resistance. The butterfly must struggle to escape the cocoon. That struggle is what strengthens its wings. In the same way, you need that internal friction to build an unbreakable mind. Think of the greats. None of them reached the top without going through the valley of doubts. But they had something most people lack, an absolute refusal to give up. And you can cultivate that same mindset, not through brute force, but through a conscious decision to keep your focus on what you want, not on what you fear. Every morning, when you wake up, you have two choices: to reinforce your old paradigms or to feed the new ones. And that choice will determine the course of your life. Imagine yourself 1 year from now. Do you want to be someone still repeating the same excuses? Or someone who built a new identity, a new reality, a new story? Time will pass anyway. The difference will be what you did with your mind during that time. Bob Proctor used to say, "Decide what you want. Believe you can have it. Act as if you already do. The rest is consequence." This is the success triad. Decision, belief, consistent action. Nothing more, nothing less. Now, close your eyes for a moment. Take a deep breath and feel the energy of abundance already circulating around you. Visualize your goals as realities already achieved. Feel the emotion of victory as if it were happening now. That vibration is your anchor. The more you return to that state, the stronger your attraction becomes. The outer world is only a mirror of your inner world. And change begins with a simple decision. I accept to live in abundance. Pause for a moment and look within. What you're feeling right now is not a coincidence. It's the awakening. It's your mind saying, enough. Enough of just surviving. Enough of self-sabotage. Enough of living below your potential. You were born for abundance, not to beg for opportunities, not to chase crumbs, but to create, to expand, to be a channel through which prosperity flows. Bob Proctor knew that wealth is not a privilege for a few. It's a natural consequence of those who align with the laws of the universe. And the laws are immutable. If you sow thoughts of scarcity, you will reap scarcity. If you plant conviction, disciplined action, and gratitude, you will harvest wealth in every area of life. And here's what few people tell you. True abundance doesn't begin with your bank statement. It begins with your identity. You need to become the person who attracts wealth before it arrives. This is the simple truth Bob Proctor repeated for decades. Many listened. Few applied. And only those who applied discovered that this philosophy never fails. The decision is yours. And there's no more time for doubts. The moment of transformation is now. Not tomorrow. Not when things get better. Because they won't get better on their own. They get better when you get better. Everything you need is already here. The knowledge, the opportunity, the capability. The only question is, will you act? Reprogram your paradigms. Raise your frequency. Decide to live in abundance, not as a distant wish, but as a daily commitment. And this journey begins with a simple symbolic act. If you feel this message spoke directly to your soul, if you know you're ready to change, then make this moment a turning point. Backhand index pointing right. Subscribe to the channel now. This is not just another subscription. It's a pact with yourself. A commitment that from today on, you refuse to live below your true potential. And in the comments, write with conviction. I live in abundance. Write it, declare it, affirm it publicly. Because words have power. And every time you reaffirm this identity, you strengthen your new vibration. Don't be part of those who just listen and forget. Be part of those who listen, decide, and transform. Abundance is already yours. Now it's your turn to claim it. You are already rich. The only thing missing is for you to start acting like it.